downwards, and I thought it was going to go into the ocean, but it didn't. It leveled out again, right like it was flying right on top of the water, and went around the ship, and I never saw it again. But I was just couldn't even blink. It was the first time in my life that I knew I had confirmation that they exist, that they're real, like I always thought they were. And that's how it all began. And so I don't know if you want to ask questions. There was a second event that happened April 16th, 2014. I was watching American Idol, and I still smoked back then. I paused the TV that night. It was about 8:30. I went out on my back patio here in Vegas, and I was having a cigarette, and now I catch this beautiful red light out of my peripheral vision, and I look up, and there's a UFO going over my home.
Now,
and I just couldn't believe it.
How big was it?
So I got up. Oh, go ahead.
How big was it, Steve?
Once again, this thing that was going over my home was probably the size of a large helicopter or something. But there was no sound. It had the most incredible red lights all the way around the back end of it in a semicircle. That's all I could see. But this time, Gary, I knew that I had my phone, and it had a camera, and that I was going to try to shoot video of it. So as I'm keeping my eyes on it and trying to get my camera going, I'm running to the corner of my yard, which was perfect because it has a raised cement area in the corner of the yard where I'm up high enough where it's nice and level and I can see in about, almost a 360-degree view. But as I'm getting the phone out of my pocket, this thing stops in its tracks, and it starts coming right back the way it was going. And it actually scared me. It's the only time I've ever been scared by something like that. And then it stopped again, and it started going forward again. And by then, I got my phone camera out, and I shot video of it. And I did just a terrible job. It was like, because I've never really shot videos before. But I did catch it and did about over 5 minutes of video. And I learned how to make the video and turn it into MUFON. And they investigated it, and initially they came back and said it was a drone, but I proved to them it wasn't. And they changed their determination on it to unknown.
Well, how did you convince them it wasn't a drone?
Well, the one thing that I have done in my life is I used to design websites. When I got out of high tech, I needed to do something. When we moved to Utah, that's not the state you go to make a lot of money, and there wasn't a lot of high tech in St. George. So I started out in real estate, but before I did that, I built my own website because I learned how to do that early on. And when I did that, I also wanted to learn how to do graphic design, so I knew how to process images. I can go through and take a video and break it into every frame of the video and look at the images to see what they really look like using, the raw video files.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I would go through those, and it was just unbelievable what you're coming up with. And, I just proved to him that the lights on this video were not the same as the one he was saying it was. Not to mention there was also some brothers who witnessed it that took a couple photos of it themselves who were 14 miles away in a different part of the city, and they were scared for some reason. There was something spooky about it to them as well. But yeah, so anyway, we got that, and that's where I made the choice that, wow, look at where I am. I'm in Vegas. Area 51 is here. Nellis is here. Creech Air Force Base is here. And now I know that UFOs are real. I don't know what they are, but I know one thing. I know they're real, and they're very amazing. I just said I'm retired. I'm going to make a job out of it. I'm going to come out here every night with my camera. I'm going to buy new cameras and be ready for them. Have tripods, try to get nice, clear images, and wait. Because if abductions are real, if UFOs are real, they're here in Vegas too.
Well,
and I thought it would be a numbers game, and so that's what I did. I just put in about a 3.5 year period, I did over 1,000 nights of doing that and going out every night for hours. Well, and standing watch, just like I would if I was in the Navy.
Yeah, but one thing I'm going to say, if you go on MUFON's report, Nevada has the lowest sightings in the country of UFOs. And I find that kind of strange. A friend of mine who's no longer alive, Art Bell, tried to talk me into moving to Pahrump several times. And I'll be honest with you, Las Vegas, the heat, I just couldn't even. The thought of my wife would divorce me instantly back then. But I mean,
yeah, you're in a whole different climate.
Yeah, and funny, every time I ever got in Las Vegas, I would get, especially near the airport, I would get lost. And that's not fun to do when you're riding a motorcycle. But I mean, Las Vegas, and the windstorms. Don't you get a lot of windstorms too? Out of curiosity, coming through there.
Yeah, but not like they do in Phoenix. They have the haboobs there with the gigantic dust clouds that come and sweep over everything. We don't get that, but we get our fair share of wind. But, for the most part, we like it when it rains or it's stormy because it's always sunny here. It's almost always sunny. So, yeah, I don't mind the weather at all. But, it doesn't surprise me on the reports of not having that many reports. The place with the most reports is California. And guess what? California has the most people. So, I mean, when I was growing up here, we used to laugh because Nevada didn't even have 1 million people in the whole state. And, size-wise, geographically, it's the 7th largest state area-wise. So it's a pretty big state. But, and of course, since then, it's just gone haywire. Vegas by itself is well over 2 million now.
Oh, yeah. It's a big area. I liked it to visit. How's that? But, what I was going to get at is Art, doing his radio show for the years, confined to me numerous times. He did not believe in UFOs at all. But, it was a topic that he got into that was really popular. What changed his life was when he went out to smoke. He went out on his, back deck with Ramona, his wife, and they saw a huge triangle UFO, quiet, not making any sound, just kind of float right by. And that's all it took. And then it really convinced him that these things are real.
Well, yeah, that's all it takes. You just need one, and I especially one like that where it just there's no other thing that it could be. Like I say, that first one, Gary, it was 200 feet away, and it was eye level with me, and I was on maybe like deck 11 or 12 of the ship, and ironically too, geographically, I would say that we were somewhere not that far from Shag Harbor, which was Canada's Roswell back in the 60s, So I couldn't believe what I saw there. And to this day, that is still the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Interesting. Now, but these lights and sightings of these unidentified flying objects in Las Vegas, do you think it's because of Area 51 and all the military bases around there, they're keeping track?
Oh, just trying to use logic, I would have to say, yeah, there's nukes here. Just the nuclear test site, that isn't very far down the road. And, they exploded more than 500 atomic and nuclear bombs off out there. And it's right next door to Area 51. That's only 77 miles away. So you bet, we're out here in this isolated area where you could hide something just about anywhere out here and nobody would see it if they didn't want you to see it.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, most people, and I hate to say it, society, people don't go looking stargazing. I think there is more now than there has been. But people get in their car, they don't look at the sky, they whatever they do. I think the more reportings we've been getting lately is people are getting educated. The video from the Nimitz came out. That got people more looking in the stars, looking at the skies, and they're starting to see more UFOs than ever. But I looked at a lot of your videos, and I'm really intrigued how they're going on the side of the mountains around there and the hills, and it just makes me wonder what they're doing.
Yeah, well, would I love to know that myself. But, then you have to just look at, okay, what kind of history does the state have? And we do have right here in Las Vegas is a history of, the Paiute Indians living here. And right here in my neighborhood where I live, there's actually petroglyphs within 3 miles of my home, where I just shot one of my most recent videos. It ends up being the most amazing video I ever shot, was a sacred Indian site where they left a lot of their petroglyphs, and apparently there's even some sort of burial ground there. But, just the geology, is just amazing. So, they're here. I know they're here. I've seen them up close. Never seen an alien, but I've seen their vehicles, or our vehicles, or whatever. But whatever vehicles they are just beyond incredible.
They are. That's the scary part. Is it ours or is it theirs? And believe me, you do not want to see an alien in person. What do you think, James?
Absolutely not. I wouldn't want to see an alien in person because, like I've always said, there's spirits and all these other paranormal things. There's some kind of defense usually, but with aliens, there's no defense. I look at all the reports I report where retired cops got his hand on his 45 and he can't move, can't lift his arm. You're froze. You're helpless against them. So no, I definitely wouldn't want to meet them or advise anybody to want to meet them. And I would not suggest that if you see something, don't be flashing high beam lights at them or flashlights. That could end up very bad.
Yeah. Hey guys, we need to take a break for the radio station, so we'll be back in 3 minutes. So don't hang up, Steve. I'm going to put you on hold.
Oh no, I'm not going anywhere.
What we are asking for from the government is full disclosure. Because we know what we're seeing, and there are too many of us. We're not going to.
As I gaze upon the annals of time, one thing that comes through: we are not alone in this universe. It's a thought that rings true. Ancient cave dwellers drew spacecraft on the walls. It's a recurring theme. I've seen the same thing while walking late at night, and I know it's not a dream.
From Malmstrom to Manat, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea.
If you tell the truth, they will ridicule everything you say and do. It's all part of a deception. It's a puppet master's tool. And I've seen no